Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is live 102. Today we're going to do a work session. We're going to look at organizing a bit the goals for the next few months, and I'm going to try to basically tie some things that we've been working on for the past live streams and use this time to do some progress on some of my projects and organize a bit what I want to do on the live stream. As you might know already, there hasn't been too much structure. I mean, we've had different topics on the live stream, but we haven't really, let's say, committed to one project. I talked to Rob Beal, who's been coming to the live streams pretty often and also contributing to the Discord. And we wanted to set some sort of stretch goals or continuous themes that we would work on the live stream. And the idea is that we would do certain streams that would be completely focused on making progress on those projects. This one is not one of those. This one is completely the opposite. It's a work session in which I'm going to be looking at many different things. I would encourage everyone to, like this video if you're enjoying the content that I'm doing, and also to subscribe and click on the bell if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. I'm Nono Martinez Alonso. I do tutorials and live streams like this one on creative AI and coding. And I also produce the Getting Simple podcast, where we try to have conversations on creativity, technology, and culture, usually in long form conversations with guests that are really passionate about what they do. They might not be the best in the world. Sometimes they're top performers, but it's basically what unites them is their passion for what they do. And, I said that, but many of them are some of the best on what they do in the world. All right, so let's get started. I would invite anyone watching today to leave a comment on the chat, say hi, and tell us where you're connecting from today. It's not super common that I do live stream on Saturday, but this time might be more suited for the US and those time zones, and also a good time to sync from Europe and Spain. So without further ado, let's get started. I would also remind you that you can join the community at nono.mas/discord. And, it's just a Discord server where we can chat about anything related to the podcast, the stream, and the things that we're doing here. Yesterday, so this was the last live stream, is live 101. I continued. We're going to take a brief look at this today as well, looking at how to produce markers and transcripts automatically for this live stream and for any recordings that you might be doing. Specifically, I'm doing this with OBS and Audio Hijack when I'm recording only audio, but you could do that. So use these workflows with any workflow or any tool that records and has an active file being written to, like video or audio on your machine. And okay, so let's talk. The first thing I want to talk about, and it would be good probably to do this live when we have some of the people that are a bit more involved in these projects also online. But this is kind of me thinking out loud. What are we going to try to achieve? What experiments and what projects we're going to try to do on the live stream? Here I have. Let's actually go to the real document. So I have here the Notion document that I'm using for the live stream. And if we collapse these topics, one thing we have been talking about is foster community. I've tried to do QAs on the live stream. We did one a few weeks ago with special guests where people could write on the chat. We used Riverside for the first time, so that's been really good discovery for me, because I now can edit those episodes on Descript. So actually, let me quickly, I can show on Descript. I'm going to show a bit of what I've been looking at and what we could do also in the future. And I'm really happy that people could join us. So in Descript, what happens now is that we have the possibility, as you can see on the left, to do different layouts, right? And each of those layouts on the transcripts are marked with this /. And actually what happens with Riverside is that we get to record each guest in an individual camera. And from this script, I can actually make different compositions for different parts of the interview. And I have a high resolution, or basically a raw feed of every guest's camera and microphone, which is super good. It would be really hard to coordinate everyone to record their camera and their audio correctly and then send it to me, and then I have to sync it. If we go into a sequence, we can see that that's not the best frame. So we can see that, it's just me here, but if I scroll below, you can see everyone's camera feed are also there. And if we scroll a bit, you can see everyone's camera and everyone's audio is here as well. I could actually, I think, not sure how to do it here right now to hide the track, but everyone's tracks are synced, and we even have the screen shares that we did. So I could go to the bottom. You can see these transcriptions for everyone on the conversation, and I could go to the bottom thing when I talk to Viral, probably around here. Yeah, so Viral is here, and at any time, because it was Viral and myself, you can see that I can swap my camera with Viral's, and you can see me or Viral. And what we can also do is that if we were to set temporarily here a different camera just for this segment in here, I could go here and I could set, here I was sharing screen. So you can actually put the screen in like big or something, and we can see our cameras as well. So I don't know, maybe the interface here could be something like this, right? It's really bad. Well, maybe let's just put them here. Yeah, so imagine it's something like that, right? So now you see my camera, and let's make this a bit bigger. So I'm gonna play a bit so you see what it is. In last December, and it talks about many things related to what we talked about before, but then there are other podcasts that have nothing. Yeah, so I mean, really flexible, and as I said, this is just affecting the composition between those two slashes. So if I show you, that's between here and here, just basically where when I hover, this actually highlights that section, and you can see that if I go to a position after that, it will go back to the default that we had there, right? So it's basically, it lays out all the cameras there automatically. And the quality of this video is pretty good, so we can see it in here. And these three folks that we have here to celebrate the 100th live stream of my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's just an example, and that is, I was trying to talk about how we're trying to do QAs on the live stream, and that's also on the podcast. We'll edit that for the podcast. We haven't been doing any challenges, so this I'm gonna strike through. We haven't done that. And there is indeed a topics page at topics.nono.ma, which we haven't used too much to like direct the stream. We've done a bit in the past, but I think for something like this to work, we should be reviewing it at the beginning of every single live stream, and actually trying to schedule topics that we're gonna do in here. So that's something kind of on my to-do list. I'll leave it here, and that's for fostering community. Then for building a collaborative AI sketching platform, we have been looking at, okay, we want to build an infinite canvas, collaborative human bots and drawing, machine learning suggestions. This is something that, as I've mentioned before, tries to match what I did. You can look at nono.ma/AI, what I did on my master's thesis, and it's an attempt to port something like this to the web so anyone could use it, and we could do collaborative drawing on the cloud. it's easier now if we use something like TLDraw, and I also want to get the original suggestive drawing server app and clients running at some point. But all of that, all of that is complicated and it will take time. But the idea is that anyone could extend this tool as well. So bear in mind that that's still here, and I've moved to archive delegate video post processing because right now nobody's editing these videos except for me, the ones for the YouTube channel, the tutorials, and then create an intro to creative machine intelligence course. That's a bit paused at the moment because I don't have the time to do that. Okay, so create brand animations. We're gonna leave this aside, and then release podcasts more often. I'm working with Andrea Villalon to edit the episodes. She's doing a really good job editing long form interviews. We've actually finished editing, not yet the color, but if I play here, this is a conversation I had with Ian Keel months back talking about Hypar. So let's just take a look at that really brief clip. I just cut this clip sort of randomly.
So we wrote a sort of custom thing for that.
Okay. So you have also an API for that. That's an internal API, right? That's for Hypar to work.
I mean, it's also specific to Hypar. If you look at the tutorials for how to bind.
Okay, so that episode will make it to the podcast on the YouTube channel in the next few weeks or months. So we're gonna put here Ian Keogh, Andy Payne, and John Pearson, and also Live 100 Creative AI with Friends. These are some of the episodes that we can see in the following months. But I expect also I have some other ideas on the back burner that we haven't recorded yet. Well, I actually have an interview with Joel Simon from Our Breather. So these are the episodes. This one you can already listen to at none of the /live/100. That was the live special. So I invite you to go there directly if you want to take a look. Okay, so and I also created this channel on YouTube, which is empty at the moment, at nonoclips. So that's the username. You can simply go to youtube.com/nonoclips or add nonoclips. And it's a placeholder. We have no videos yet, but the intention is that we'll create shorts and clips that will go here from existing episodes, so you can consume the podcast in a slightly different way. Okay, so with that, we've taken a look at the goals, and this is just like, let's try to continue making this a bit more productive. And for today, as I said, this is going to be a work session, and we're going to jump straight into the first thing that is looking at we were doing with markers and transcripts and transcripts, and we're going to try and so we're going to try to do that in a way that is going to be useful for me immediately, so I don't have to be running that during the live stream, and I can run that afterwards offline. I'll show what it is. You can see it at live 101, but I'm going to show right now. So let's do a little intro. So hi everyone, it's Ono here, and we're going to continue developing the markers and transcription script that I have created to automate the live markers with transcripts of this live stream and the podcast. So that is, in short, getting timestamps on an existing video and try to automatically transcribe those sections so we can create markers really quickly for our episode. And I'm sure there are other optimizations that we could do in the future, but for now, let's dive in on what we have and let's try to do some coding. Okay, so this is the first section that we're gonna actually do something hands-on today. So I'm gonna close a few things here and there, and maybe later I'll try to show later we'll put it here, maybe shorts and TikTok format. Okay, so as I said, I'm gonna go to the folder where I was developing this. That is my settings, scripts, and we're gonna open that on Visual Studio Code. As some other times on the live stream, you might be already familiar with this. I've mentioned that while I'm recording, so if I'm recording this video right now, I'm creating these markers. So these markers are moments in time where I change topics and I talk about something different. So this one from 1403 corresponds to when I started talking about markers and transcripts. This one at 1325 is when I clicked and the slide of today showed that we were going to talk about that. This one is probably about goals, or this one is about goals, and this one is about a subsection of the goals or something. So those markers are being created live, and I can drag and drop to Visual Studio Code. And again, if I do introduction here, that adds today, break, and so on and so forth, right? You get it. So these things I'm going to remove, and what we, the intention of what we want to do right now is we're going to run the script as we did yesterday. So I can do it in an individual, in one individual, let's say marker. So if I go, how can I make this smaller? Make this smaller to here, and I put it here. Okay, so the only thing I have to do here is activate the FFmpeg Anaconda environment, where I do have both OpenAI Whisper installed for Python and FFmpeg. So I do have in this folder this marker script, so marker, add, and transcribe in Python. And the thing that we did yesterday, so I can quickly run here the help. So I can see we can pass the marker text, which we won't do, but I could pass that text and that will change the text that is added here. But for this script, actually, we want it to be marker so it can be replaced afterwards. But let's try to see here, directory, file. Okay, so all we have to pass is the file, or the file that we want to do the transcription for, and the timestamp, right? So right now that's how this works. So we cannot pass just a file, because if we pass the file, we could actually decide that we want to do transcribe for all the markers. And that is a piece of work that I'm gonna try to code today, because that's what would be really useful. That I finish a live stream, I get these 6 markers, and I say, okay, transcribe the corresponding parts of the audio for those, and add the text there. And that's what you're gonna see right now. So if I put here timestamp 02, let's do 1325, it might be more clear. We're gonna do the transcription padding is gonna be, let's just do 1, so we don't want too much. The transcription duration, let's actually do 20, so we see actually some text. And okay, so there was one thing here. Let's just do 5 seconds, because we're gonna have to wait otherwise a lot. And then we have the file, which is gonna be at where is this? Recordings, OBS, and we're saying that is our recording for today at this time. So that's our video. So if you see the full command here at the top, it's Python marker, the timestamp is 1325, the padding before that marker is gonna, it's gonna start at 1324, because we have padding before, and then the duration is gonna be 5. So it's gonna go from 1324 till 1330. And the file is this. So it's going to try to look for the corresponding markers file. Well, actually it doesn't. It looks for it later. It's going to get the audio from 1324 to 1330. It's going to transcribe that with Whisper, and it's going to add that text here, right? Seems like a magic trick. Might not work, but we showed yesterday that it probably is going to work pretty well. All right, so we run this now. So I'm going to run it, wait for 5 seconds. We don't need to wait. And that's what we're going to fix now, but this is waiting right now. All right, so it's obtained the piece of audio, and it's now transcribing, and it's there, productive. And for today, as I said, this is going to be a work session. So here now I can decide to call this today or work session, because that's, you know, that's what the transcript is telling us, right? So let's first do that piece of code. We're going to edit. So I'm going to go to that file. And here we added a to-do yesterday. It says, don't wait if we don't have to when timestamp is on demand. So how can we do that? The easiest way, we have a method here that says elapsed seconds since start. So if the elapsed seconds since start are greater than the timestamp plus the duration, we don't really have to wait. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say okay, so we'll say here elapsed seconds for the okay, and here there is an error. So we have recording path here, but here we have input path. So we actually define this globally here. That might lead to errors in the future. So I'm gonna replace this with input here. Oh, input path is also, yeah, that's okay. Input path and input path, right? So that's coming from there. So we want the elapsed second since start for input path. So it's gonna be, we're gonna return here just because we're just debugging. And we're gonna say the file duration, that's the current file duration, and we're going to just put that here. So let's put that in here and here. Okay, and I've been doing too much TypeScript lately. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go in here. We're gonna try again with the same code, and let's just, okay, 1 second. Non-type is not subscribable. All right, so because we're not returning anything there, we're gonna do here transcript if transcript is not none, we'll do this part here. All right. Okay, so you see right now what we're getting, and let me add a clear thing here. What we're getting right now is at any time we call this script, it's actually telling us the duration of the file, right? So we just need to see here, let's say, okay, so transcript duration, file duration, and we have a marker timestamp. So let's bring here the marker timestamp is gonna be in here. Okay, so we have 1325, so let's convert that. We actually have a method, so we don't have to do it by hand. Timestamp to seconds, and we'll do here. So we'll do, let's make a formatted string. Let's go a bit closer. So I'm gonna do here, print the timestamp, but we're also gonna print here timestamp. So marker timestamp seconds, and we're gonna do timestamp to seconds of our marker timestamp. So we'll print here the seconds. I'm gonna do here that, and we'll run this command again. So and you know, if you guys, for those of you who are online now, I'd love if you say hi in the chat and you let us know how you found us and where you're connecting from today. Okay, so we have now 1325 is 805 seconds. We're now at 1455. So if our duration, so if we put here our duration, so because what we care is that the audio is already at the timestamp plus the duration, right? So we say here transcript duration, marker timestamp. So let's say so transcription clip and seconds, let's say, I don't know if this is a great name, is marker timestamp seconds plus transcription duration. So we want to transcribe up to this, and the file duration right now is seconds and seconds. So if we do that, we will say we want to transcribe up to second 810. Right, so we just have to, so imagine we are actually, if we say, okay, we want to do it right now, it's 1548, right? 1548. And we wanted to transcribe 30 seconds from now till the future. That's this plus 30, right? So that means that this would be this value here would be our transcript end transcription, or like transcript end seconds, right? So basically, if we say wait seconds or seconds to wait, would be the transcript end seconds minus the current file duration, and we can do here whatever is okay. So it's basically the maximum of this and 0, right? Because if this is minus something, we want it to clamp to zeros. Okay, so let's say here print wait for seconds to wait seconds, and here we say, okay, we're waiting for 5 seconds. That's just because we're recording 5 seconds, but actually the file duration is a lot longer than what we're asking for, right? We just want to go from let me see, so timestamp to seconds. Yeah, so we want to actually go in seconds, and we could actually do transcript start seconds, right? It would be marker timestamp seconds minus transcript padding. And this actually we could add seconds as well to make it less confusing, but yeah, let's. So padding seconds, duration seconds, padding seconds. All right, so we actually, so video marker to audio clip, this, let's talk about this API in a second, because I don't think this is the best before and duration. We should probably just say here start seconds and end seconds or something like that. But because that way we can use that from anywhere and we don't have to specify paddings or anything. Okay, so waiting for X seconds, like this is not real right now. We are gonna be waiting for seconds to wait. And that will stay here with us. And okay, so once more, so file duration is that we want to transcribe up to second that. We want to transcribe from transcript start seconds to, okay, so we want to transcribe from second 804 to 810, wait for 0 seconds. And if we were to actually add a marker, so let's put here our markers, and we actually want to not fix this here, but actually transcribe for the current file. Okay, so we're adding markers here, which I'm gonna delete now. But if I do 1, so it's 2934, and that's actually this duration of the file. File duration is that. Let me actually do that on code, so you see it a bit. File duration, blah, blah, blah. And then we can say here, file, this is marker transcribe. So let's actually try to see. So the marker timestamp that we provide is marker timestamp, and the file duration we're gonna put here, file duration as timestamp. So if we do that, we do time duration as timestamp. That would be seconds duration to timestamp. Duration to timestamp. What does that get? Yeah, duration seconds to our minutes. And I actually want the method def seconds to timestamp. And we will return here the timestamp, right? So the timestamp is going to be okay, so this method here, duration seconds. Yeah, so here we'll do hours, minutes, and here seconds. Let's just do it that way. And here we'll return duration to timestamp, and we'll provide that. So seconds to timestamp, let's actually see if that works. Seconds to timestamp, and we have file duration. Okay, let's pause for a second in here so I can see on the chat. Isaac M says, "Hi Nono, connecting from New York, but I'm from Mexico. Found you through your podcast, which I really enjoy. Thank you." Awesome. Yeah. What's your background? So there's like quite like an amount of people that discover the podcast through the design and architecture community, but I'm curious about how you found it and what episodes you've given a try or listened to. Okay, so yeah, nice to see you online, Isaac. Yo soy de España. Okay, so and let's see here if this works. So if we do that once again, so let's do that. So we add another marker. It says file duration is 1991, which is actually seconds 3312. And the marker timestamp that we're creating is 3312. So that matches. And we said we want to transcribe from 1991 to 1997. We actually have to wait 5008 seconds because we're at this moment, we want to get there, right? So we just have 5 seconds to wait. We have clicked the button right before it's actually 1992, right? So this is really accurate. And, to avoid errors, we could have some like a safe zone where the seconds to wait is actually slightly bigger than what it should be, right? So if it's at 0, we're always going to leave it at 1, right? So we could leave it at 1 second or maybe like 0.5 seconds. And you can see now that, we're gonna wait for here it's 64 really, so we'll have to go to 65, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 5, and that's what it is. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and waiting for, that's what it says, waiting 4 seconds to wait. Okay, so actually this doesn't, okay, so let's leave this here and we'll put this here. So we always get like a bit of a margin for the file time that we have to wait. So all of this that we've done is just for debugging. We don't need this anymore. I mean, I'm gonna assume that this works. It seems to be working all the time. from 10 till 15 is 5, so 5.5. And if we actually put a timestamp, it tells us that we don't have to wait. So we wait for 0.5 seconds. Doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe we just need to wait a bit like that, right? Because, well, let's try it. Why not? Let's just try it. So transcript starts seconds, transcript ends seconds. Seconds to wait, we need that. We don't really need this. File duration, we need this. Marker, timestamp, seconds. Okay, yeah, we need all of this. Seconds to wait, time duration as timestamp, we don't need this one. And that will get faded when we don't use it, right? So transcript start seconds, right, and seconds. And what we're gonna do now is that we'll actually wait seconds to wait. And here we're gonna reformat this. So start seconds is gonna be transcript start seconds and transcript end seconds. And we're gonna get before padding seconds removed. And so it's gonna be start seconds, end seconds. Great. So this is gonna be start seconds, end seconds. And we're gonna do trim start. This is never gonna be 0, I think, here anymore. So this would be trim end, trim start. Start seconds, end seconds. And we just remove these two ones from here. Right, so let's try this out. Let's try now that this is supposed to be working. So we've said these ones are not for us. And we're gonna do for 1325. Let's try that again. So we wait for 0.25 just as courtesy, so we don't make sure that everything's ready for us, and then it transcribes and it doesn't do anything. I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't do anything, because this is not marker. So if I put this as marker and run it again, this is actually going to replace the content there of the marker text to the transcript that we saw before, right? We can actually go back to what we had. I mean, that's our transcript. What would be good is that if we actually transcribe it, maybe we want to add it here, right? Like our transcript. So let's actually go to our code, see where that replace marker text is. So if line, blah, 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 marker transcript, if line has that, the marker text is going to be replaced. But because we have the timestamp, we could actually say that the line is going to be simply the marker timestamp and our text. Well, there's things that we could do here. So let's comment on this. So we can do that. So it's always going to place the marker, so the timestamp and the text. So we're going to see that here, right? And we have a space there that we don't need. So that would be, I don't know why there is a space. I'm not sure where the space is coming from. Let me just do it this way. Probably from the... Okay, yeah, so I think I might have, yeah, so I might have this fixed here already to prevent that from happening. So let's try once again. Okay, so now that doesn't happen. And this is one option, but Okay, let's do it again, just to see what happens there. And you know, if we have used this model to transcribe, okay, there's something weird happening here because we are not putting there a line jump. Okay. So once more, and you know, for context, we're using OpenAI's Whisper model locally to do this transcription for the text. So this is working now well. So let's say that I had here today, right? I already decided that this marker is going to be called today. The other option that we could do is that we can get that text. So we can get the line. So we could get that line and replace that line jump with a line jump plus our text. Let's see what happens there. So we have today, as I said, and we can expect to see the transcript afterwards. Okay, and I guess we could do something like this once more, and actually I'm gonna leave this here so it doesn't get duplicated. All right, so today, and you know what I would expect is that we have something like marker here, and productive, and for today, as I said, all right. So I think this is good enough, just in case that we have something, and we, you know, if I go now, I could go to 0937 and do that for the line before. We've been doing it for the same line all the time. For joining community, then building. Okay, and the last thing, let's see on the chat here before. Isaac is mentioning here on the chat. At some point, I asked. Let me actually read it here so I look at the screen. So at some point, I asked myself the same question. I was not sure how I found the podcast. I think Amazon recommended Andrew Witt's book. I searched for more info through Google and found your podcast. That's pretty awesome to know. I mean, I didn't know that was the case, but Andrew's book is really good. I've read it from beginning to end. Completely recommended, called Formulations. Have since listened to many of the episodes and watched your YouTube videos on your web playlist and others. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for letting me know, Isaac. I mean, it's not easy to find that information of how people find the projects online. So thanks a lot for sharing. Okay, so continuing here. So I have this transcript for this one, and what I want to try to do now is to do one that is from scratch. So we're gonna do, like, for example, 10 seconds of talking, and I'm gonna do it right now. Hi everyone, this is a test, and we're gonna talk about markers and transcriptions in today's video. So note that that has waited for the 10 seconds that we've told it to. So I want to listen for 10 seconds and then create a marker. And to that marker, now I've put this here. So now you can say there's a marker, and now I say, hello everyone, this is a test, and we're going to talk about markers and transcriptions into this, right? So this would be the use of this thing live. So when we finish, every marker that we've created has its own text. And yeah, this is a pretty good use of AI locally. And so let me see, I can. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with the chat here. Oh. Okay. So yeah, so what can we do now? I mean, what I wanted to do, what I said I wanted to do, so I'm going to remove this one, and out of curiosity, I'm gonna do 1403. And you know, if it just says marker, honestly, we could replace that because there is no marker, doesn't mean anything. Right, so this one is short, but I know that I'm gonna talk about marker AI transcripts. And we want to transcribe everything at the same time. Let me actually see. Yeah, I think this works because that way, if I do, for example, if I do introduction and I, you know, after the show, I want to also transcribe that. That will give us the transcript as well, right? Yeah, okay. So that works. Great. So what do I want to do now? This is just so we can do transcripts quickly. I mean, pretty obvious, but it's not so for other people. Okay, so let's put here introduction. This is actually start, but well, introduction. And what I want to do now is that if we had this all empty, so let's say we actually, let me go here. We go and leave this all as marker. I want the program to be able to, so let's say transcript, what can we do? Timestamp, let's look at the code. So if we do here, this I think I like, so I'm gonna leave this for now like that. Okay. Marker text, append transcript at the end. This is like replace marker word with transcript, only with transcript. And this one was about a marker timestamp text. Timestamp and transcript, ignoring existing text. Okay, so we have those three options, and right now we are just doing one, and we've commented out everything else, but we could have different modes. And what we want to find is a way, if I were, how would that work? So if I if I input a file right now, right? If I just input a file, it's gonna create a new transcript marker and add it there. But I want to tell it that I just want to transcribe everything that is existing. So this is a creation mode or timestamp to transcribe. So if we say maybe there is like a special value, let's say here print opt, so we can actually do transcribe. The timestamp is going to be all. Opt timestamp is none. So here we'll do marker timestamps is marker timestamp. So we're gonna get that all the time. So we're gonna do here timestamp in marker timestamps print print timestamp. And we've done this to do. We have another to do that we've done already. And we're going to comment this out. We just want to print the timestamps. So here we'll do this. We don't need to print the OPT, so we can print here all. Okay, so our timestamp is all. And if we actually do another timestamp, the timestamp is 4556. So what we want to do is wait and transcribe for each one, starting from the lowest one. But I mean, yeah, maybe we start from the lowest one, but that will be done automatically. And if timestamp is none, we just do this. If timestamp is not none and file is also not none, we set marker timestamp like that and record the path OPT file. All right, so the only thing we need to do is here that if marker timestamp is all, read all timestamps from markers file. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so we do have here, we'll print the marker timestamps, which is a list there. We're gonna leave this for now. So if we just have one, we want to wait and transcribe for each of the markers. Print transcribing timestamp. All right, so we do that and timestamp is not defined. All right, so we'll do that one, which doesn't exist on the moment and wouldn't be replaced there. But if we, if I add a marker, 52, 58, and I put here 25 seconds, waiting for 119 seconds. That's weird. Okay, so we actually put here 58. So we wait for 7 more seconds. And after 7 seconds, it's actually gonna transcribe that one and replace it there. And all we have to do after this is that we're going to open the file, get all the timestamps from the beginning of the lines, and go one by one and transcribe them. All right. If I add marker, blah, 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 that's weird. Okay, so that's too long, but that worked. And we don't need to print the markers anymore. So we don't need to print all the markers there. Print line, new lines, right. And the last kind of magic trick, we're doing that here already. So file lines, markers from file, file path, and we'll do this. So open the markers file in read mode. So file path, my file, read lines, and then we'll do for line in lines, print line. All right, so this is what we need, but we're gonna do some mapping here. So we'll map each line to its timestamp to do. Okay, so markers from file path, and That's what we will do inside of here. Markers from file and so recording path markers.txt, so that's the file, and file markers will print the file markers. And for here, we're gonna do temporarily, we're gonna empty this so nothing gets processed. Okay, so done. There's no markers right now, so there's no lines. We're not returning anything probably. Markers from file, lines, my file read lines, for line print. Okay. So all right, so we have to put here all. Okay, and what we need to do is map this. So map here, lines, map lambda x split space, and take the first one in lines. So lines is gonna be that. And now, all right, so we get the markers and we just need to return the lines. Map object. And we just need to make a list of those. So here, what I'm doing is I'm reading the lines of the file. Each line looks like something like this. So I'm, for each line that we read, I'm mapping that through a function that splits the sentence by spaces, and I just take the first one. There's always going to be this one, and apply that to the lines and set the lines again. So I could return that directly, but we're going to leave it like this for readability. And now, all right, so we get all the timestamps, all the markers, right? This one I've added, so it wasn't really added before, but what we're going to do now is we'll do a thing here that is, we have the marker timestamps and the marker timestamp. So what we'll do, we're going to do this here, marker timestamp is going to be that, and here marker timestamps. Definitely here we want the marker timestamps to be the file markers. And that works. But let's put this here. But how do we do it? Marker timestamps is none. If marker timestamps is none, okay, so we're gonna set marker timestamps to marker timestamp, basically wrap it on a list if it's just a single timestamp, if it comes from here or here. But if marker timestamp is not none, we'll just return marker timestamps. Okay, so we get here all the markers, and here we get 52. And if we do it without it, so we actually get to create one here, it gets set to 5960 created marker for blah blah blah. Okay, created mark. not sure what's printing here. Print. Marker timestamps, scribing, print. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we have these ones here that we can remove. We've done that, and now, so let's say all right, and we don't really need to print this debugging here anymore. We can simply put this here. All right, so let's see if this actually works. So I'm gonna actually create a marker here for the demo. So this is actually the demo that we're gonna do that this actually works. And what we'll do is that I'm going to see how here it says timestamp all. So I'm gonna click and something fails. Invalid literal for int with base 10 all. This is parts int. This is at line 56, 293. Marker timestamp. Okay, because we haven't changed the variable. So it's timestamp and timestamp. So we have to do it that way. All right, demo again. Let's try. And again, if you're online, I'd love if you say hi on the chat and you let us know how you found us and where you're connecting from. Okay, so once more, we're going to transcribe this and not 25 seconds. We just want, let's say, it doesn't make a huge difference, but let's say 8 seconds for each part. Let's actually say 10 because we'll see it happening. All right, so we're transcribing marker 0 for a few seconds, and that will get added here. Thank you for watching. How come is that thank you for watching? Okay, so let's take a look at something. No, I think that's actually right? Let's see. So let's try to do it. Well, actually, this is, here's a problem. Hola, Nono, it's Rob in the US booking a vacation this summer to the, I don't see more. See, it's Rob. Nice to see you online. I don't read the whole thing. So, okay, so let's go here. Let's try to do, okay, not the last one, but this one's marker. Let's actually, yeah, let's put here like default marker and let's run this. So number 0, it's transcribing there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. We'd have to do, let's get started. We'll also remind you can join the community. Yesterday was live stream live 101. Let's talk. The first thing I want to talk about, and it would be good probably to do this live when sharing community, then building a collaborative AI platform, productive. Little intro. So hi everyone, it's Nana here, blah blah blah. All right, so I'm going to actually create a marker here for the demo. So this is actually the demo that we're gonna do, blah blah blah, and this is actually the demo. Actually, that's it. And yeah, so the idea is I would say a few words that, hola, it's Rob in the US coming to Southern Spain in July. Awesome. Well, you need to let me know what dates we need to talk. We need to meet if you want. We can meet in person. Okay, so productive, and for today is going to be a work session. Yeah, so this was today's section, sharing community. And, sometimes it might not be super easy to use this thing for actual markers, right? And then I guess like the other thing that we could do is, well, we have these symbols, so I can easily remove all the markers if I do this, right? I just do that. Get started, remind you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so these, for example, this is live 100. Actually, what we could do is that if this mark is here, so if there is this sign or like some sign that we put, it could remove everything that is to the right of that. So let's actually do that, because that way I can swift change things. So let me change here. So define a separator after which to append the transcription, the transcript. Okay, so the separator, transcript separator is going to be, let's make something, let's maybe use this. I mean, we can change this anytime, but the idea is that we can append, new lines append. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna move this new line text or something. Yeah, so new line text is gonna be new line text. Great, and we just put this here and we copy this. Okay, so we get that, and this works as it was working before, but we have the separator here. So what we want to do is, for this approach, if line split transcript separator length is greater than 1, we're gonna take line split transcript separator, we're gonna take the first bit and we're gonna append our text to it. So we'll put here our transcript separator, and then we'll have the text and the line break. If not, so this would be new line text. New line would be line replace, and we put here the transcript separator, the text. All right, and we always do this, so we always do that, and that way we don't have to do it everywhere here. Let's try this out. Okay, so before we continue with this, let me take a look at the chat again and see who's writing here. All right, so Wojtek Karnoka, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It says, hi Nono, it's Wojtek here. My background is in computational design architecture, finishing my master's at the Bartlett UCL in London. Found you through Jose Luis Parametric Camp. Would to watch high quality content. Can't wait to catch up with older videos and streams. Cheers. Well, thanks so much for writing on the chat and letting me know. It's this is a Saturday work session. I decided to do a bit of progress on these projects because I've been a bit stale. And yeah, so maybe you can tell us a bit of what your interests are. I mean, if you're following Parametric Camp, I'm sure that Grasshopper and Rhino and scripting in Python, at least, and C# or maybe C# if you're following Jose Luis's tastes. Okay, so let me see. So we can close this now. All right, so let's try once more. So let's actually remove from this one. So what I want to do is I'm going to create some more markers. So I'm going to create this one here, maybe link, a marker, fake from here, I'll say, because that way we know where we kind of started doing gibberish. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again. So I'm going to do on demand, and I'm going to do on purpose just 3 seconds and 0 wait, or like 4 seconds of audio for all. So we're going to go one by one, and it's going to try to transcribe each of the markers, and we have a new separator. So it got view here, it got yesterday, so this was the last live stream in live 100. Okay, so let's talk at the first thing I want to do. Then for building a collaborative area, and for today, as I said, this is going to be a work session. So hi everyone, it's Nono here. You get it. I mean, okay, that was my bad. I tend to do this. So I put this camera and then I forget to put this camera. But yeah, what I'm doing here, I'm transcribing. I set the parameter so it only gets 1 second before and 3 seconds or 4 seconds after the audio. So with this new separator I've set, we're actually adding all the markers behind the text, and this is just a short span of text. But note how we have this separator that I'm not going to use on the podcast. Here I'll say, because the way we know, yeah, this is basically I press twice the same moment, so it's replacing that in there. And I'm curious about how it actually got these two ones. Probably it replaced them both at the same time. Okay, so let's actually, let's just imagine that I change this to here, and now I change this one here to 07, 08, and 10, right? I can actually request this thing to transcribe again, and we're going to, let me go here. I'm gonna say just transcribe from like 2 seconds before and 6 seconds afterwards, right? So now we're gonna be transcribing more text, and you can see that instead of you, it's going to replace that text, hopefully, just after the separator with other stuff. And from what's going on there, yeah, okay, so it's replacing the ones that have to be replaced, right? And that's for fostering community, then, right? So we're actually seeing that the transcript is being changed in place. And this is really nice, because even for the podcast, I'm going to be able to like do this offline just with plain text files. And yeah, it's pretty nice. Transcript separator. So, we can move around the markers, and we'll see the corresponding transcripts update. So I'm going to create this one here, maybe link, blah, blah, blah. And these two now will be different, right? So we will see that we've changed the timestamps a minute. So this text now is going to update to something else. All right, so that's worked. And, the one thing that I think it's left here. So if I were to add the actual markers here, yeah, I think this one has to go a bit before, but we'll see. Maybe I'll put it in here. I think this is for goals, and not sure. Maybe goals is here and this one is not. But the one thing that is left, I think, I don't know if, yeah, so there is this Whisper model that is tiny, and actually Whisper AI, so from Whisper from OpenAI, you actually get different models, and we're gonna see here. So we have tiny, base, small, medium, large. There's actually large v2 as well. And each of these ones has a different accuracy. So we should add this as a parameter to our script. So let me put, if we don't have dash m, so I'm going to put m for the model, and I'm going to do, it's going to be a string, and I'm going to do m for model, and we're going to put whisper model to use for transcription. And here I'm going to put, I don't know how you put the options, but default is always going to be tiny because that's the fastest. And we're going to do here tiny, base, medium, large, v2, or let's actually just allow large v2, I think, because you don't want to use the large normal. And is there any other model that I'm forgetting? Base, small. Okay, large v2. Okay, so we're gonna put here maybe at the top, or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure where that should go, but I'm gonna put that. So whisper models, and we're gonna put those there. It's gonna be tiny, base, small, medium, there. Okay, so these are the only ones we're gonna allow, and we want to make sure that, you know, when we go here, we can say if where is that? So OPT model, not in whisper models. We're gonna print here whisper model opt model not available. And we'll have to exit in some way. Python exit program. Quit. To quit. Well, actually, instead of quitting, we're gonna default. So we're gonna do model equals OPT model. And now we're gonna say if model, let's do whisper model. So whisper model, if whisper model is not blah, 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 we'll do that, and we'll say defaulting to tiny. Okay, and we'll do basically that. So we'll do here tiny. And that we actually need to pass now to wait and transcribe, I guess, right? So wait and transcribe. And here we'll do whisper model, and we'll go to wait and transcribe. We'll pass here the whisper model, which we're gonna default to tiny in case that doesn't exist, and then transcribe. Transcript is going to use here whisper model, and if we look for transcribe again, it should take here a whisper model, defaulting also to tiny, and here we're going to use that variable. All right, so everything should work now. Let's see if it works exactly as it did before. And I'm going to go to the chat again to try to also interact a bit with you guys. Okay. So Walktech replied to my question and said, I'm certainly more comfortable with Python at the moment, but looking forward to becoming more language agnostic. Right now, looking for a role in tech and architecture, AC, keen on automation tools, development, analysis, all the cool stuff you guys do. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, automation and tools. And I was recently at at a Rhino McNeil developer conference, and I had so much fun. I was like taking notes all the time and learning so much from these guys. That is super nice, and I'm super excited to have, as I mentioned before, to have these interviews that we're going to be releasing relatively soon with Ian Kyo from Hyper, Andy Payne from McNeil, and some other cool people. Okay, so let's try this out. So I have the right camera now, so let's try this out. And one thing that I'll remind everyone, if you want to help with the channel, hit the like button to let me know that you're enjoying the contents that we're putting up there on the podcast and stuff. And make sure to subscribe and click on the bell if you're going to get notified when I go live next, or when I upload new videos, or maybe when we do another live podcast with special guests. Okay, so, and thanks, Wote, for sharing your background and what you're doing. So let's try here, because I'm putting this here. Okay, so using whispers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I know this is gonna take a lot longer, but I wanna try, and thanks for those likes. Honestly, it makes my day that you guys are listening and seeing real time, because being here in Spain, streaming for people in the US and all around the world is really hard for my time zone. If I wanna get you guys during the week, I need to do it after work, and that's usually my 7 or 8 p.m. start point. So it's really challenging. Okay, so Python marker add and transcribe timestamps all. We get 2 seconds before, 6 seconds later. Let's keep it, let's keep it small for this sample just to see how accurate this is. And we're gonna now put a new input that's gonna be, we could use tiny, but if I do some weird thing, it's going to tell me whisper model FSDFD not available using whisper model, which, okay. So that is not super helpful. I need to put here an F for making this formattable string. And that's transcribing. So let's actually do that again. So now it tells me it's defaulting to tiny, read all timestamp from marker files. So I'm actually not gonna show that. And we're gonna do that again. Okay, transcribing, blah, blah, blah. And what we want to try now is we're gonna try large V2. This takes longer. I'm not sure if my computer is going to be slowing down, but this will be the most accurate we can get. And if you're doing this offline, so for example, if I'm live streaming and I want to have those markers live, then I probably don't want to use large V2, because large V2 is the heaviest model and is the one that takes the longest. You can see it right now, I think. I think that's what's happening. Like this is, this transcribing the clip of audio and just loading the model. I'm not sure if it's actually having to download it. It might be that it's downloading the model, and now that it downloaded, it's running. But it takes longer. It's going to take longer in loading the model, in doing the inference for predicting the text and all that stuff. So let's wait for a second. And, if I were to, say, okay, I'm going and I'm going to be like doing some other stuff, or maybe I'm using a computer, but I finished streaming or something, this is okay, because I don't mind that the CPU is being used, and maybe this is slowing down for you. I'm not sure. But the thing is, like, the large and the fan of my computer is going on. So you can see how different in inference time are these two things, right? We have tiny, which has 39 million parameters, and large V2 that are many. It's like 40 times more parameters, and the required VRAM is 1 gig to 10 gigs. Relative speed 32 times faster. So I think we can get away with base, maybe even with small, but with medium and large is too much. So we could try base, but honestly, at the state of the art right now, with like I have an M1 Mac right now here that is not the most powerful of the market. You probably don't want to go to the large V2 if you're streaming as I'm doing. So maybe, you know, and this is just getting thank you, which was really similar to what we were getting before. Right now, this is getting transcribing 307, and I just want to see something that is longer. So let me copy this here. So I'm going to copy to a different file, and we're going to compare what it does. But you know, the nice thing that is happening right now is that every time the transcript, so there is a transcript change, now it knows that this is the separator, this is what I've written, and this is what the transcript is. So if we update the transcript, we just want this text to update. We don't want this marker to go away because I've written that by hand, or maybe it's that when I click on the Stream Deck, it did that. So I think this is fair amount of time that it's taking here. Okay. So yeah, let's definitely, once this is done, I'm just gonna pause it for a second and we'll use the other model. Okay, I'm gonna stop it now. We can compare. So here we have yesterday, let's see, just today. So this was the live stream of live 101. I continue, we're gonna take a brief look at this today. But this one says yesterday, so this was the last live stream, is live 101. I continued. We're going to take a brief look at this today. It's fairly similar, but you know, you can see how much better large 2 gets things compared to tiny. Not so much for 32 times slower, I would say. But if you're doing like a long transcript that you have to fix later, large V2 makes sense. We could also automate it through the API on OpenAI, so our computer wouldn't really have to use the CPU for anything. You just put your API key, make a post request, post in your audio file, get back the JSON, and you get a lot of more detail there, I think, as well. Not sure. I mean, there's more information you can get just on the plain text that I'm showing here from Whisper. And you know, just to let you know, I do have my fan is off now, so it doesn't, you know, it just stopped using the model, fan goes away. And if I just run here, let's just run the help, because I've added the model, so you can see we can use tiny, base, small, medium, large. So let's use base and see how long it takes. So let me put a timer here for the first transcript. And it also depends on how long we want to transcribe for. All right, so I'm gonna click here. Right, so we getting 3 seconds, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it's like 13 seconds. And well, I didn't get any text there. I don't know what's happened. 13 seconds. It's pretty fast, but we're doing like only a few seconds. And you know, let's actually do it as I would do it for real. Let's make a quick demo, and I think we can move into something else now. Okay, so let me actually go here, and I'm gonna fake that I'm gonna present a few things, right? Okay, so imagine I have these 3 things. So we're gonna create timestamps, and I'll be doing as if I'm presenting, right? But ignore this because we're not gonna see these topics. This is just like a dummy thing. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a hands overview on learning PyTorch, a dummy description. And I'm just talking here gibberish so we can see how this would work for creating markers with Whisper. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. Well, what is that? I went to the last one first. Okay. Yeah, we can remove that one. And that would be on the transcript. Hi everyone, it's Ono here, and this is not really a tutorial on Imagine AI, so Imagine AI Pythonic Generation Stable Diffusion Images. So let's get started and go to the next thing. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a sample slide number 1, and here's a dummy description. This is probably one of the silliest things I've done lately, but I think you get the point, and I could say here, hi everyone, it's Nono, and this is a tutorial on Pixel to Style to Pixel, training part 2. Okay, so that's the last one. So what happened there, what I've done is I've actually, I think I have, but I don't think this has been shown here. What did I press? Something weird has happened here because this didn't really show. So let's see. I mean, let's see at least for this marker what happened. I don't know what I clicked, but that didn't really. So tiny, we don't have to specify that. Let's see. We can remove the model thing to use tiny, and we're gonna do just this one. So we're getting the text for this one. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a hands overview on learning PyTorch, right? So that's pretty cool. So we're saying learning PyTorch, and that would be my title site. And yeah, how can I crop it so we see it real time? Well, we'll see it afterwards. I'll put the things there. But I really want to like get the actual thing working. So I'm gonna do it again. I'm sorry, but it just make it simpler. TensorFlow and OpenAI and maybe Stable Diffusion. So let's just go through these ones. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing really quickly. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a sample slide 1, a dummy description. So this is nothing really that you need to take care about, but just a dummy thing that I'm trying. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on learning PyTorch, another dummy description. All right, so now we're gonna talk about TensorFlow and how you can use it for machine learning. And lastly, what we're gonna talk about is OpenAI, and later we'll talk about Stable Diffusion. And I'm gonna do one more here. Hi everyone, it's Nono, and this is a test on Stable Diffusion. All right, so now, before I forgot to click, I have to be honest. I think that's what happened. But now I have the markers. So these ones have different timestamps. And one thing we could do to trick the machine, because right now it will go through everything, but I can remove these ones, put in a different file just for a brief second. And I can say, okay, this file, so just do all and use the tiny model. And these are all generic markers. We've seen different topics, and now we just have to enjoy here and see what these things that we've said. Everyone, it's Nono here, and this is the samples like 1. Okay, this is sample slide, so that's good. I'm in the description. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on learning PyTorch, another dummy description. Okay, so we got the second topic, and you use TensorFlow, and then we'll get OpenAI, Stable Diffusion, and then Stable Diffusion at the end. OpenAI. Stable diffusion. And, just to note, these words work pretty well. So just to note, I'm putting here a duration of 8. I think 10 is ideal because that way, you see, if I say a longer sentence, it also works. And the one thing, I'm not sure how I can, let me see if we can put there is a way in which you can put an input prompt to the Python, to Whisper. So transcribe. And okay, so there is like an API here: verbose, temperature, compression, condition on previous text, initial prompt, string. There is like a ton of stuff here: decode options, append punctuations, prepend punctuations. Initial prompt is what we want. So you see how these put here Nuno, non, some other things, OpenAI. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. I'm gonna put as input prompt. And we're gonna put this here, Whisper initial prompt. Let's do here initial prompt. So we're gonna do here initial prompt. So we're gonna pass that parameter, initial prompt, non-default argument false. Okay, so we can put this here, initial prompt. And that's here. Okay, so and we are gonna put here yet another argument. So we're gonna have here do you have any P? No P. Okay, so let's do whisper prompt. Whisper prompt. So initial prompt. Let's put a P. So whisper whispers initial prompt. And default is gonna be none. And we're just gonna pass that. So we're gonna say to the wait and transcribe, we're gonna also pass the initial prompt as opt initial prompt. And we'll have to add these to wait and transcribe. And I'm not adding markers for these things, right? To the pod, to the live stream, like for what I'm talking about in each part, and that will be something that is not great. But I can still go back or like transcribe the entire video and do that. But the idea is that as you record, you create markers, and we do those things. So this is for initial prompt, and I didn't really create a marker. Okay, we're here. So whisper model, initial prompt, and to transcribe, we pass the initial prompt. Okay, so the idea is that for me, the initial prompt actually is gonna be, hi everyone. Hi everyone, it's because I say this, it's none here, right? So if I put this prompt, okay, and we're an hour and a half or something like that. So if I put this here, if I put hi everyone, it's none here as my input prompt, let's see how this changes. So let me see. Right, so we're gonna do all. And again, I'm gonna copy this to another file and we're gonna compare, because I do think this is gonna be notably different. And you see here it says Nuno. Oh, initial prompt. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on learning PyTorch. So it's actually ignoring this. I'm curious about here if it actually fixes it. It's Nono, and this is a test on Stable Diffusion. Hi everyone, it's Nono. Well, it definitely got Nono here, but I'm not sure why. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. Well, if the marker starts with that text, then it ignores that text, it seems. But what if we actually go a bit before and get more text before hi everyone, it's Nono, and it might get that part accurately. And for those of you who are online, I would love, if you haven't done so yet, to get a message from you on the chat to let us know where you're connecting from and how you found this live stream. And also, it would be great if you support the channel by hitting subscribe and clicking on the bell to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. All right, what happened here? I'm gonna glue the same thing really again. I have everyone, it's Nono here. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. It's an overview on learning, blah, blah, blah. It's definitely getting Nono, and this is a test on Stable Diffusion. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me see if we look here, initial prompt. Initial prompt. Optional text to provide as prompt for the first window. This can be used to provide, let's see. Optional text. Let's read about the optional text here. Optional text to provide as a prompt for the first window. This can be used to provide or prompt engineer a context for transcription. Example, custom vocabularies or proper nouns to make it more likely to predict those words correctly. There is a typo here. But it ignores it if it's actually at the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change our initial prompt to be Nono. And I could even write OpenAI or other things, but Nono. Yeah, let's just do Nono and let's try that again. Let's see here. We transcribe everything again. And actually, let's pause for a second. Let's see. Let's see. Well, I'm stopping after this one. So let's just get no padding at the beginning. I just want to see what happens with that. I have everyone. It's Nono here, and this is the sample slide 1. I'm in the description, so this is nothing. They care about, hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is an overview on learning PyTorch. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I think this is going to be better. All right, so now we're going to talk about TensorFlow. Getting there. All right, I'm really happy. And lastly, we're going to talk about is OpenAI, and we'll talk about blah, blah, blah. And this is a test on Stable Diffusion. Okay, and maybe as just for fun, we can put here, for example, OpenAI. So I can say here that my prompt is going to be OpenAI, just that. And that's just going to transcribe this sentence. And let's see if actually it gets OpenAI properly, if it merges both words into one. That's by, yeah, it did it. Okay, that's by providing that as a prompt. So what this means is that if we know we've been talking about specific things in a live stream, we could put those things here, and it will know much better what to do. So let's actually do that. I'm gonna create a marker starting now. Hi everyone, it's Nono Martinez Alonso. I'm going to say technical words such as OpenAI, PyTorch, TensorFlow. I'm also going to be talking about stable diffusion. I'm going to mention pix to style to pix, which I just made up because the actual one is pixel to style to pixel. And then I'm going to mention Elgato's Stream Deck. Okay, so that has been, I don't know how many seconds, but I can say here, for instance, 30 seconds, and I can give it prompts like OpenAI. I'm not sure if I said PyTorch, Elgato, Stream Deck, Nono Martinez Alonso, stable diffusion, pix to style to pix, and pixel to style to pixel. So let's try that. This is with the tiny model, is the fastest one. We're just giving it a prompt, and it's trying to learn from those words, like how to actually transcribe them. And let's see. I mean, that shouldn't take long, so it's already there. Okay, it did the first one before. So lastly, we're going to talk about OpenAI, and later we'll talk about stable diffusion. So it did a longer one, right? Because I told it to get more time, and now it's actually gotten OpenAI and stable diffusion with capital letters properly. And here we go. So we actually got the second one. I'm going to remove the first one. Now I'm going to use the main button to, I don't know what this is, to OpenAI, PyTorch, TensorFlow. I'm also going to be talking about stable diffusion. I'm going to mention pix to style to pix, which I just made up because the actual one is pix to style to pix. To, I don't know what happened there because I put it properly, right? I said pixels up, yeah, that go. And then Elgato's Stream Deck. So if we don't, let's actually do that test. So if I'm going to save this here, let's see what happens now if I hadn't put this prompt with all of these things. So the prompt now is empty. And where are our real markers? So these ones we don't need. We can delete now. And this one is the actual one, and this is the script. So the script, I'm gonna open source now, so you can go. I'm gonna write the link to the GitHub repository, so github.com/noesp@live. So that's the live stream code. Go to site, yes. And yeah, so this is where I'll upload it. So we'll have a folder there that is going to be, okay, so let's see what this transcribe. Now I'll push the code to the cloud. All right, so we have Nono Martini Talon. So note that Nono is by default on the prompt, right? So we have made the default be Nono. So I'm going to do Nono Martinez Alonso just for fun, just to try if that actually gets it. So we'll do it here while we analyze the text. I'm going to say technical words such as, so actually by adding prompts, I confused it because it didn't get right before, and my name either. OpenAI, PyTorch, TensorFlow. I'm also going to be talking about stable diffusion, pix to style. Yeah, now I got my name right, and it still got some of the other things properly. But you see the pix to style to pix, like that didn't get it right, but because, and this it got right, Elgato's Stream Deck. But the thing is, when you give it input prompts, you might confuse it for things that it might have already done well. OpenAI, PyTorch, and TensorFlow are fine. So yeah, I mean, pretty interesting, definitely. And now what I'm going to do is actually do the markers. So we have live 100. creative AI with friends. Was it Live 100 what I mentioned there? Maybe. Goals, I think goals is what we have here today. And maybe this is not so important. So I can remove that, marker AI transcript and demo. And yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we have a lot of other things that we could do with this, but for me, honestly, this is such a big stretch goal because adding markers is like a tedious thing that I have to do all the time, and having this type of automation is going to save me a lot of time. So as promised, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get the code that we've written and I'm going to copy it to a new folder. So we're going to create a folder for live 102. I don't love this syntax way, but this is how we have it right now because it's the easiest to maintain. So I'm going to go to my settings, scripts, marker, transcribe Python. I'm going to copy that here. And I'm going to push that to the cloud, to GitHub, so you can also use it. You can browse through the code. The only thing that is missing is that we might be able to add here is how to actually use it. So maybe, so this is pushing code to GitHub, which is what I'm doing right now. Marker AI transcripts. And for the usage, we're gonna say install FFmpeg and OpenAI Whisper in your Python environment. Here's an example on how to create an Anaconda environment with these dependencies. So we can do here, this is bash, and we're gonna do conda create and markers. We'll do Python 3.10. I will say yes, conda activate markers, and then we can do pp install. And actually, I like to get Whisper from this URL here, and then we can do ffmpeg. But I don't think it's ffmpeg, it's Python ffmpeg. Let me see. Conda. So in this environment, conda list. Grab ffmpeg. ffmpeg Python is what I have here. So let's add that here. ffmpeg Python. Put that here. Requirements. And then usage would just be Python marker add transcribe. And what are we passing here? So we can do so here we have transcript all. So this is actually transcribe all markers offline. Add marker and transcribe. So this is the easiest. So this would be this is the kind of the core functionality that I created. We have transcribe a specific marker. So we'll put here, for example, timestamp, and duration. We can do that, for instance. Actually, let's just leave it simple. Let's leave it simple here, and custom parameters. So we'll do here, we don't need any of this, and we just say the recording, and marker at transcript. Okay, and here's where we can say, okay, transcript padding could be like 3, and transcript duration could be 8. So we have like 11 seconds of audio. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, it says it's not a Git repository. Ugh. Okay. So I'm gonna go to live at main. We're gonna open this repo here. All right, and I'm just gonna add these two things. So this one is an older version, so I might add it as well. Okay, so we're gonna add that, and I'm gonna push, and on the repo I sent on the chat, you're gonna see a new folder, well, 2 new folders actually. This one's for the old one. And here we have the instructions, and we have the entire script. So open source the code, and yeah, it's not super clean, but you know, there's like a bunch of stuff that we've done there. Okay, so we now, you know, let's actually use it. Yeah, I broke this one. Okay. Yeah, and as I said, before I forgot, I don't need to do all. So I can simply do here. I think this just uses the defaults. Marker timestamp is not defined. Okay, so we have some sort of bug, and I need to fix that. Marker timestamps is none. Marker timestamp is here. Marker timestamp. So if we go, I mean, let's just do a quick debugging here. A, B, C, D. This is really bad debugging. Don't do this. Okay, AF, and we get to here. Okay, yeah, we don't get to here, right? So what's failing is this line, because Markers, if markers. Timestamp. Name marker timestamp is not defined. Do you mean marker timestamp? Debugging here, live. Okay, so marker timestamp is not defined. See, marker times, if marker timestamp is none, we go here. But if file is not none, we go here. Okay. Because we need to specify the file. It's not just the one that is being recorded. Okay. So, marker timestamp. Okay, so we can actually set that marker timestamp is opti timestamp. That can be our default here. That will prevent us from getting this error, and it will default to the file that is being recorded right now, which is not great if, you know, well, it would be the latest file. Okay, so recording path is not defined. Okay, so that makes sense because recording path gets set here automatically on add marker. Last modified file from path. So make a helper here. So I'm refactoring this function so we can record in there. Recording path. So recording path is going to be this, else recording path. Okay, so let's see if this works. Recording path is not defined. Name, recording path, blah, 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 328. Recording path is file. And this is directory. All right, let's try again. Okay, so now we're getting automatically the last file. So just to explain, just by giving a timestamp, that I have here, and we could probably specify, if a timestamp doesn't exist, we could actually inject it. So I'm trying to just fix a bug that we had there actually uses. So maybe it's good call it GitHub. Okay, so like let's say here I can put push code to GitHub. Push to GitHub. So the one thing that would be really good, because if I do here a timestamp that doesn't exist, the first thing that we should do is we should try to create that timestamp and add it to the file. Because right now this is going to transcribe, but it's not going to find here any line to replace that as it's done, right? So maybe that's the last stretch that we're going to do is inject a timestamp that doesn't exist. Okay, and we can actually, inject, transcribe, add on-demand markers. Okay, so let's see how we do this. Okay, we have a way. We're getting so many functions today here. Markers from file. So we have markers from file, and we can check markers from file. So we can get here. Okay. Okay, so what happens if timestamp is none? We want to get it from, we want to add a new marker. But if it's not, so if we just do here, if it's not, we actually if timestamp is none, we set the marker timestamp and the recording from add marker. I don't think this should be linked together, but anyhow, we can say that recording path, it's actually going to be actually, why don't we do opt file if opt file is not none, else last modified file from path. And that way we actually don't need to pass this directory here, I think, because we always will be reading the file path before. So add marker doesn't really need the recording directory. We always have a recording path. And this is actually required. And here what we're getting is def markers file from path. And here we put file path, and then we return this. So we make it consistent as well. Okay, and we just put here this thing. Okay, markers file from file path. So we've been doing this by hand in many places. So I'm just going to replace recording path in here as well. Okay, and that's it. So where were we? I'm breaking everything, I think, but it's okay. If timestamp doesn't exist, add marker to input file, last modified file in directory to input file. Okay. Else on-demand transcription of a timestamp. Marker timestamp, we get it. If timestamp is all, it's all. The thing is, this is good, but we're gonna be, we could be transcribing from a timestamp that doesn't exist. So here we need to check that the timestamp exists. Elif marker timestamp not in marker from file, and here we get markers from file. Markers file path, markers from file. Marker timestamps. Marker timestamp not in markers from file. So the same thing. So marker from file. Create marker. Create marker from file because it doesn't exist. So let's comment everything out. Okay, so I'm gonna do here that create marker in files, it doesn't exist. So if we put all, we get here print all, and okay, so that's it. So now when we add the marker, okay, so the only thing is that we need in other marker, we need a parameter. So we need the timestamp actually. Timestamp is none. And timestamp is this if marker timestamp if marker timestamp is none, else marker timestamp, because we just need the stamp for the text. The problem is where we place it. We're adding them at a random point where it doesn't make too much sense for the file. So we're just appending at the end. So we need here to do if marker timestamp is given, place at the right order, inject at the right line, because right now it's not going to do it. So we have the marker timestamp. So we would do here add marker. add marker. We can put any text we want. So optional text. File. So we have right now recording path. We should have that. And this as well. So we don't really need to return it here anymore either. So add marker. Because this is an input. Okay, so add marker, we have that here. And op text recording path. And marker timestamp, because we do have the timestamp. That's what we have. Okay, so if we do that, let me try to go here, and now I want a timestamp at 2:07:30, which is a while ago, but it's in the past. So we don't have to wait. That's been added there. And that's transcribing now. So that works. Okay, we have a way to get so many functions here, markers. Okay, so what if I now want a marker from, I don't know, 3:30? It adds it at the end. Okay, so if I just add a marker here, okay, I could demand, okay, so I'm gonna say some text here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm gonna put it at 2, 18, 15, for example. So I want that marker in here. Yeah, so all we have to do is inject the markers in the right location. I'm gonna say there, okay. Yeah, so that worked. And you know, the only thing we're missing is that we need, when we inject it, or always, I mean, it's a pretty cheap operation, I think. So add marker here. And okay, so let me actually take a quick break and drink some water, go to the bathroom, and I will be back. All right, I'm back. So where were we? We needed to make sure that if we're providing a given timestamp, we actually sort the file markers. So for that, I guess we can create a helper here, another helper that basically sort marker timestamps. Marker timestamps. Sort markers file timestamps. And we need the path to that file. The log path. Markers file path. We're going to call this file path. And what we'll do is, so we're going to open a file. So as we do here, with open file path, read as f, we'll say f read lines for line in lines print line. And you know, one thing we can do that I haven't been doing today is that I can actually think easily create a new file, marker add. So let's put an underscore here. I'm gonna do sort. Let's save a file here and say sort markers file. So Python, and I'm gonna do import this function from marker add transcribe print sort marker blah blah blah. Okay. Let's try if that works. Python sort marker file. Invalid syntax. From import that. Yeah. All right, that works. So we can now do sort markers file timestamps, and we can provide a file. So we can actually get our current file here, path, and sort that supposedly, but we're just going to show the lines. Right, so we get all the lines of the file. So now the only thing we need to do is create a dictionary. So we're going to create a dictionary mapping these lines. We're going to create a dictionary with the line text and the amount of seconds. So what we want to have is, so you see it in a diagram. Let me bring my Remarkable if it has batteries. Live stream. Okay, awesome. So let's look at how to sort a list in Python. And we're going to do that for our markers. So let's see how sort our markers file in Python. Okay, so imagine we have this this marker file. So it's a marker file. It says something like start. Maybe here it says intro, but then weirdly it says maybe 10 is PyTorch, but then we get something like at 5 we wanted a timestamp and it says goals as we did today, and then we get something like 15:20 is our outro, right? So this goal should actually go in between these two. We should sort it. So the solution that we can get is that we create a Python dictionary that has, or like it could even be a tuple. We probably do tuple better. It has the timestamp, and the second thing is the text, right? Which actually could be the entire text. So it could be that this is going to be our timestamp text, and we're going to have another property that's going to be the seconds. This is going to be an int, and this is going to be a string. So for this item here, so goals, it would be something like 5 by 60, that is like 300, and then 05 goals, right? That would be our tuple, like int and string. So yeah, mind my writing, but yeah, we're gonna do that, and then we'll use a function to sort the dictionary, right? I think I have a utility function on my blog to do exactly that. So let's look for that function just in case we have that. Sort dictionary site nono dictionary. Yes. Sort list by key as well. So we can have a list or a tuple or whatever we want. Sorted key. Okay. So all we need is I'm gonna zoom in here because we can see this with more quality. And you know, if anyone's still with us online, write to the chat, say hi. What do you think of what we're doing today? Okay, so we have these lines here, and what we want to do is first we want to map our lines to so we're going to do map. We're going to get a list of a map of a lambda x, and for each one we're going to have a tuple. We're going to return a tuple, and this is of the lines. We're going to have a tuple of first the lines text, so x, and let's do, for example, x split space and then get the 0. So we actually get the time and then the time and the text in the other one. We can test that function by running this again. So you can see we're getting a tuple of the time and this, but this is not really sortable. So what we want to do is for each of these ones, we're actually going to get, that is the timestamp, we're going to get the seconds, the timestamp to seconds. So we get the seconds, so the timestamp, and actually when we run this again, we actually see the seconds there, right? Let's actually take out this text so this doesn't match there and look clear. And we can see that everything's fine. This is all in order, but what would happen if, you know, we mess around a bit with the tags and they get out of order, right? So we need to sort them properly. So what we want to do next is, after we do that, we do here a sorted, as we're doing on the website. So we do sorted, we say lines, and our sorting function is key lambda x minus x0. So the first property negatively. And we do lines again there. Let's see what we get now. All right, so we're getting them in descending order, but we want them in ascending order. So we just put that there, and note how, you know, for example, if I put the introduction here at the end, it still shows at the beginning. So this means, you know, this means that it's working. So we can get this out. It's working, and now we just need to return that list of lines and save it on the on the same file, right? So we're writing here with append, but I think if we just do with W, let me just make a backup of our markers just in case we destroy it. And what we're gonna do is we have this open, so this file is open right now in read mode, and we could actually simply do here file, so file markers file is open, so we'll do this, use this code there. We'll do lines, read lines, and we can do markers file close. Right, so we have our lines, we've read them, and we can map them here. So like read markers file lines, read markers from file. Then we sort markers by timestamp, and so this is sorted. And what we want now that we have that sorted, because what we had there that works, but now we need to convert back these sorted tuples, right, list of tuples, into the actual file. So for that, we first do lines, list, map, lambda, x. We just want to keep the x1, which is the text of the lines, lambda, and list. Right, so now we have that. We can print that exactly as it is by putting in nothing, and we have the markers sorted. Now we just have to save it. So we now, we can remove this from here. The only thing we need to do left is save it. So we now write sorted markers to file. Okay. Great. So write sorted markers to a file. So we have this file here. We're going through lines, but another way we could do this is if we just do lines, basically join lines, right? So we could say markers text, and we print that markers text. That should be the same as we were displaying before, right? So that's the contents of a file, and you see that we still have the line jump at the end as well, as we want. So what we do is we want to write that to the file. So we have to say markers file. Now it's going to be open, the same file path, but in write mode. And we're going to say, as we were doing in the other one, say markers file, write, and we just do the markers text. Markers file, close. So now when I run that command, I'm gonna run it here. Let's see it. I'm gonna run, and these files get sorted. And now I can get this here, and it gets sorted back. I mean, we never want an unsorted file. Yeah, and here there's a problem. If there's an empty line, it shouldn't be there, but that shouldn't happen if we use the command. So we have that. We haven't broken anything. That works. How do we use it now in our file? So this is working. Sort marker file, timestamp file. We just want that to be called in here. And we can actually call it anytime, but yeah, let's actually just call it here, and we'll do here markers file path. Great. Okay, so what we were saying we wanted to do, now that that works, and we can actually remove this file from here. So remove sort makers file. What I'm gonna do is we are going to create a, like just add a marker somewhere random that we want. So I'm gonna do, for example, in between demo and push to GitHub, we could say, okay, let's go here. Let's go to where we had the commands. Actually, I can write it from scratch, like clear. So we're in FinPeg. Okay, so clear Python marker add. And then we say timestamp is going to be 01, 0, so maybe like 1500. Boom. So the marker is added here. All right, and we're sorting before we add. So that's what's happening. Yeah, so there's whisper model, blah, blah, blah. And what's happening is that we are sorting after writing. So we're gonna do that again. I'll remove this from here. I'm gonna do that again. And boom, our new marker is added here. And it's gonna get transcribed. Yeah, so there is this whisper model that is tiny, and actually whisper AI, so from blah, 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 blah. So, that actually would allow us to, well, the first thing is now I can input. There's one thing I want to do as well. So like last thing, like if we add timestamps here with commas, like if I do something like this, I would like this to be able to like understand that. And that is really easy. I think if we just go here, and when we have, if it's not all, if timestamp not in markers from file, markers file path. So we add it here. This is better, I think. Yeah, because we might have multiple. So if timestamp is all, blah, blah, blah. If marker timestamp split, comma, length major, like greater than 1, we actually want to say the marker timestamps equals marker timestamp split by comma. Might that work? Maybe. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna specify yeah, something like this, 01 1800. Oh, not supported between instances of list and int. All right, so what's going on? So length, okay. So let's see, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna add, so added this marker, we're transcribing. Just take a look at here. So line 6, that transcribes, and now it adds 16 here. Yeah, nice. So that works. And I think we have all the things that we want to support now. And I'll tell you why this is super useful now. At the end, we're trying to just transcribe the entire thing, right? But okay, that worked. And, now I could do, for instance, I could get these 3, delete that, do that, and do this, right? So now my timestamps could be those 3 that I have, and I'm saying like, okay, now I want to add those 3 and immediately transcribe them. And I could also say, okay, every 5 minutes, like, why don't you transcribe the entire minute? We could probably do that. So let's just try that as well. This one is like back from the break. You see here, I can see sorting. Sort list in Python. And I'm not sure what happened with this one. Oh, okay. So something else has happened outside. So I can close, open again. Okay, the 4 markers, the other markers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I could go and say back from the break. So maybe 20:00 duration. We're gonna do a minute, for instance. Well, we could, yeah, we could do a lot of things, right? I'm gonna wrap here because this is more or less like really self-explanatory now. But one cool thing that I can do now is I can say, okay, this is my file, and I can do the duration is going to be 60 seconds, so a minute, and I want to do the timestamp to be, maybe it is like 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40, and we could automate this for the length of the video. So now I'm going to get markers there that are not markers that I actually pushed to get, but are markers that can give me some context of what I was talking about at each of those points, right? So if I look here, now we're creating, we don't need to wait, and that's what we're going to fix right now. A piece of that I said, blah, blah, blah. Let's say transcribe, change the clip, blah, 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 marker duration, right? So, it makes more sense when it's on demand that you actually hit the button while you're recording at some point, and that's it. But, it works pretty well. And I'm going to update the code on the remote script that we have on GitHub, so you guys can take a look at it. All right, so we're gonna just update the code here. Okay, gonna add that here, and we're gonna push, and I think that should be updated here. All right, so source code for this, source code from today, it's there. I'm gonna edit the video description. All right, and I put that code there as well. So yeah, so this is what I wanted to do today. It's been pretty fun. Thanks for joining. I think it's been a good working session. I'm going to remove these ones that were just placeholders. And yeah, so now, now I guess I can go and see if the markers make sense or not. It's been almost 3 hours. Thanks everyone who joined us today. It's been, it's been Nono Martinez also here. You can join the Discord community to continue the conversation throughout the week. You can hit me there or on Twitter at NonoESP. And yeah, thanks so much for attending today, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.